I am Anthony from Haslage, and what you are about to hear is a truncated transcript from a district leader call to a number of store leaders. The names and store numbers have been changed to protect the involved parties. With that said, there's a little backstory on how I received this information. I'm going to try really hard not to reveal my sources. So, if you know me at all, I organize events for Pokemon. I used to work for Nintendo, so obviously part of my job was going store to store. And I've made a number of acquaintances through my jobs. And in this case, I found a store leader in GameStop that, he loved the interaction part of his job, talking about video games, all that stuff. But he doesn't really care for the corporate side of it. But what keeps him in the job is his love of gaming. Well, he has a store where he only had 3 staff members, and it was him, his assistant store leader, and a senior game advisor. On occasion, they would get this kind of a floater who would come in and fill in a couple hours here and there, sometimes minute releases. Other times he'd come in during busy days to fill in lunch breaks. So what happened more or less is last week there was a district/regional call, and he could not really pay too much attention to the call. Now, a little bit of backstory, and it's kind of in what I'm about to read to you, and I'll explain to you why it's something I have to read instead of something I have to play. He, for 10 days, was the only person working in a store from open to close. His assistant store leader got sick, and he told her to stay home. Well, the senior game advisor got spooked, and I'm going to use air quotes here. He decided to self-isolate, which in GameStop terms means he's been fired. He walked off. He's out. I would be surprised if they let the kid back. So anyway, district call comes in. He is only person at the store, and the store is doing, I think he said 60% more business than normal at this point because they hadn't closed the stores yet. And he has the store set up where the cash wrap is right in front of the office door. So what he did was he set his phone to record, muted the teleconference call, and then continued to work. So on the audio, all you can hear is mostly the phone call, obviously, but you hear a lot of him talking or customers talking because he had the door open to the office so he could kind of still check in on the call when he had no customers, and that wasn't a frequent occurrence. He was busy the entire time. I feel like they don't plan these calls in a lull time, but then again, each store could be different. His store particularly is in a large plaza anchored by a large store, so there is just a lot of traffic. So the call gets recorded, and he actually had a moment to ask a question because he's getting burned out. I haven't talked to him since when he gave me this log, and it took me 4 or 5 hours to get through all the noise just to pull what I pulled from it, which were rather relevant questions. To give you a little background about this guy, he previously gave me some information from a previous GameStop expo about how the stores were supposed to change. He also gave me a heads up on store closures. Now, I originally had sent this information to John over at SpawnWave, but he didn't do anything with it. I told him, hey, I only have one source, try to find another and then use the information. He never used any of it. So then, like in this case, I eventually went to Camelot 331, who was doing a lot of that leaking stuff, which is not something I really particularly enjoy doing, but I think my guy here really needs like a day off. So far, my understanding is he's into his second week. Again, I haven't spoken to him. I can't imagine them finding him anybody. If you see the response here in this log, or technically it's a transcript because I wrote it out based on what I heard, and I'm going to guarantee it is not 100% accurate. I did try to rearrange wording so it made a little bit more sense. I will read it to you. You figure it out. Essentially, one of the things I did get out of this conversation was the reason why GameStop stopped calling their store managers and now have switched to store leaders and assistant store leaders is because if they use the word manager, they have to pay them like a manager. I knew that GameStop had stopped paying salaries to managers, But everybody's hourly when they're newly hired now. And if you become a store leader, it doesn't guarantee you actually run the store. Apparently, there's a number of cases where a actual quote-unquote manager will manage a store once a week, and then he has multiple stores he hits each week. So everybody else is a store leader because, again, they don't want to pay them, give them the benefits, whatever. But they'll still work them, and they'll still do most of the job, which I think is crap. But I also go, well, you see the state of this company. May be a necessary evil, but again, he looks at it like, well, I enjoy games, so I'm going to continue working this job. Anyway, so the conversation starts out, and I've given everybody aliases, and again, I've changed store numbers. I actually picked radio station numbers from the area where I live. Opens up with Brian is what I'm calling I think is the district leader. He says, thanks for joining the call. I want to address all of your concerns about the current environment that we find ourselves in. That doesn't sound creepy at all. Vaughn, store 1065 says, I am the only associate in my store. I have been working every shift from open to close for the last week. My ASL got sick last week and I told her to stay home. Our SGA has decided to self-isolate. I'm not sure how many more days I can work as I'm starting to feel burnt out. Actually, this is my dude. I gave him the name Vaughn. Actually, it used to be the name of, where it is the name, but the guy doesn't work at the company anymore. My old assistant manager when I was working for GameStop. Still don't know if he ever got a replacement. So, Brian Jose, we have discussed this scenario with others in the office. Contact HR, and she can try to help you. All we can say is to stick it out as we try to find you some relief. We are currently shorthanded in the district. So, hiring, I guess, is stopped. I don't know. But apparently they're shorthanded. So then another SL says, my name's Chris, SL from 630, and I was wondering when we would get some supplies so we can clean and disinfect the store since we are still open even though it's on reduced hours. Again, this was last week because now you kind of have to order everything and then they'll like sneak it through a crack in the door. But last week, stores were still open on reduced hours in some cases. He says, I called support about it, but no one answered. Is the office closed? Brian's response was, we are trying to find some supplies. It looks like it might take a few weeks, which I know isn't what you wanted to hear. But in the meantime, we would say go ahead and buy the items that you need and get reimbursed. As far as the office goes, everyone was sent home and is only responding to emails. I think this has been pointed out to other people. They sent corporate home, but their store employees, not so much. You're more expendable is what I'm getting out of it. You're expendable, so, enjoy the virus. So this is one of the ones that's kind of muffled. It says, last night the company posted on social media that we were an essential business. There were over 100 very negative comments that indicated that the company did not have the best interests of the employees or community in mind. Until recently, I enjoyed working for this company. I'm starting to reconsider that in light of the questionable position that the company has placed me in. Brian responds, I will need you to talk to Hannah in HR about what you're feeling. I think this guy is about to get fired. I believe it was a guy. This guy's going to get fired. So then we have Mike, store 1007. The police came to the door and told us to close the store. I think other people have said that. I've seen that somewhere. Anyway, I showed them the letter that corporate sent in the email and they left. While our business has more than doubled, good on him, I guess. It is becoming difficult to keep customers separated in hopes of deterring the spread of the virus. I am worried that we are going to become an epicenter for an outbreak. Legit. This guy is legitimately fearing that they're going to cause an explosion. Now, here's the funny thing. The United States, as of the recording of this on Tuesday, March 24th, is we are now the most infected country. And unlike other countries who have kind of, as they say, lowered the curve, we're not. We're basically partying. Like, people are in Florida on beaches right now because it's spring break. Virus be damned. Brian says, I promise you all that we do have your best intentions in mind and to just follow the procedures that we have given you and everything should be okay. If you are worried about direct contact with customers and trade-ins, you have the right to deny taking any items that they do not meet our standards and recommending that people return on another day. Matt, store leader at store 985. I have been told by a store leader in another district that in their district call, they were told that the company is at least 2 weeks away from bankruptcy. I think I know where this guy's coming from. I believe I saw a reference somewhere about it. I'm not sure where. But anyway, Brian goes, could closing these stores too early badly damage the company's finances? Not really. But do not worry about it, as it is an ongoing discussion at the corporate level. This is all the time that we have for today. Thanks for calling in. Now, again, this call was about a half hour long. I pulled what I thought was important. There was a lot of general chatter in there, too. I thought the stuff related to the COVID-19 coronavirus was really important to pull out of there. I feel bad for the one guy. Hopefully he did get somebody in. And this other guy apparently is going to get fired. I feel like he's just going to get fired. You don't tell your bosses that I don't feel comfortable working for you anymore and expect to keep your job. You know what? I don't like doing these types of videos. I typically send them to somebody else, and then if they don't do anything about it, then I feel forced to do this. I gave Camelot 331 like a week to do something with his information. He apparently has a gatekeeper, so he may not have even seen it. So I feel like now I kind of have to, whenever I get this type of information, be the one who posts it. It does not make me feel comfortable. And I wish I could have just posted the log, the audio, but I don't want to get this guy in trouble. He and a number of customers are just all over it. And I'm hoping I grab the essence of each message because, as I said, there was just a lot of background noise. He essentially put the phone on mute after he asked his question and then left his cell phone recording while he did his job. Thanks for watching. Remember to like and subscribe.
Thank you for watching this video. We would also like to thank our contributors and patrons for supporting this video. If you wish to add to the discussion, post a comment below. Please remember to like, subscribe, and check out our other videos.
Thank you for checking out our content. Before you leave, please remember to click like and then subscribe. If you want to receive notifications, do not forget to enable them by clicking on the bell. Then afterwards, check out our social media at HaslageNet and our website at Haslage.net.